Hello everyone. In this lesson, let's add email sending functions and apply them where needed. For now, we'll ensure that real emails won't be sent, just a console log showing the template we're sending and with which variables. Later, in future lessons, we'll enhance these functions so that sending becomes real. Let's get started. We'll create a folder called libfillemails.ts, and we'll add the following code, which we will now analyze. So, look, we have a function get HTML templates. It should simply return an object where each key is a name of an HTML template, and the value of this object will be the HTML template content itself. How are we going to do this? First, we'll define paths that match our templates. We call the default path from Node.js and specify that we need to define a path starting with .dirname. Dirname is the folder where this file emails.es is located. Then we need to go one folder back, enter the emails folder, go to the dist folder, and find files ending in .html in any folders there. All right, we've just defined the template paths to the file. Next, we need to get the real paths to the specific HTML files. For that, we use the fastglobe library. Let's install it. How does it work? We call the fastglobe function, passing this path template. And it looks for all matching files and returns them here. Now, either it will install or we'll see the types, but it returns an array of strings where each string is a path to a specific file. So there will be two paths here, idea blocked and welcome, .html, the full path to them. All right, then we define an HTML templates object, which will be returned. Its type is a record with a key string, and the value of each key is also a string. In the keys, we have template names, and in the values, we will have contents. We go through all the paths, and in HTML path, there is a separate path to a specific file. Define the template name. For this, there is a base name function in the path, which extracts the file name from the path minus the specified extension. So, in the first pass, template name will be welcome, and in the second pass, it will be idea blocked. In the HTML templates object with the key from this template name, we add the file content specified in the HTML path variable. That is, the content of the HTML itself. All this content will be inside this object. All right? And we return the HTML template. Then we'll define the function getHTMLTemplate. This is a function that returns the content by the template name. That is, in it we assign to HTML template what the getHTMLTemplate function returns. And here we have our HTML templates, and return the content of the specific HTML template. As you can see, this function is wrapped in the lay- method called memoise. The memoise method allows the following. When we call this function here for the first time, this function will execute and return HTML templates. But when we call it the second and all subsequent times, it will return the cached result of this function's execution. That is, this function will actually execute only once during our project's runtime. Then, thanks to memoization, it will remember the result it outputs, and it will always return that one, because the HTML templates of our project won't change from run to run, and we just need to request them only once. Good. So we have this function getHTMLTemplate, which returns the template content by its name. Let's break down the send email function. How it will work. It takes this should be the email of the person to whom the letter will be sent. Subject. This is the subject of the email, which they will see in their email client. Template name, respectively, idea blocked or welcome. The only thing we don't specify here are these templates specifically. Well, because we dynamically requested them, and we don't know these types. However, nothing actually prevents us from explicitly specifying which strings are possible here. Okay, and then template variables. In template variables, we pass an object where our keys are strings and the values can be anything. So, for example, in idea blocked, let's say, in the welcome template, our variables should be username and add idea URL. In idea blocked, this should be idea nick. Good. These are the 4 properties of the object in the input. Okay, now let's look at the function itself. We take the content of the HTML template through the getHTMLTemplate function, passing in the template name. This is the very function we just discussed. Okay, now we have our actual HTML here. Then we request, creating an object with all the variables we need. We need the variables that were passed to this function, and for all emails, we need the home URL variable. Why do we need it? Because we have a link to the home page in the header, and it's in all the emails, so we won't pass it separately, but embed it at this stage. It will be taken from the env file with webapp.url. Why from the env file? Because we have one address locally and another in production. Maybe we could have some other environments, and webapp.url would be different there. Let's go and add this webapp.url to our env file. Webapp.url. Yes, okay. And don't forget to add it to the env file, webapp.url. But our web app runs on port 8000. And add this to the example file as well. Good. Let's go back. And then one day we'll have a real email sending function here. But for now, we'll just log a message to the console, send email, passing to whom, subject template name, all variables we want to pass to it, and the HTML template itself. That's it. And then we'll just return OK true. If there's any error here, we'll log the error to the console and return OK false. That's all. That's the send email function. Meanwhile, in our endpoints, I suggest not to use the send email function directly. I recommend defining a separate function for each email that internally calls the send email function. Here's an example of a function for sending a welcome email. It takes a user, and it's important for him to get the user from the Prisma client, but he doesn't need all the user fields. He only needs the nickname and email. Calling the send welcome email function with these parameters will invoke the send email function under the hood. It already passes user.email here. The subject is specified here. Here's where the template name is indicated, and template variables are passed through. That's why we don't call the send email function directly in the code. We don't even export it from here. We only export these helper functions. And similarly, there's a send ID blocked email. It also takes a user where only the email is important, and an idea where only the nickname matters, and passes the corresponding variables to send email. All right, good. Now let's apply these functions in our endpoints. Now let's go to the router. But first, let's handle the welcome email. It should be sent after registration. So at that point in time, when everything has successfully finished, we can call the send welcome email function. User. Got it? Good. I'm not waiting for this promise to complete because, well, let the email be sent in the background and not slow down the endpoint execution. So when this code runs, it will trigger the email sending, but without waiting for the email to be sent, it will go further and quickly return a response to the user. And then, at some point, the actual sending will occur. All right. And we also need to add the function send ID blocked email to the endpoint for blocking ideas. Block ID index.ts. Okay, good. And here we add the following function. Send ID blocked email. All right, we need to pass the user to whom we will be sending the message. This is not ktx.meid. because this endpoint is triggered by the admin. We want to send an email to the author of the idea that was blocked, not the admin. The only issue is that the author isn't currently returned in the idea. Let's add include author true. All right? Now our idea includes the author, and we also have the idea itself. Great, we added this function. Now let's see how it works. Okay, let's open our backend. Let's try to sign up and check our console. Okay, signing up. Then log out, sign up. Suppose Nick, 3W, email 3w@example.com. Password 1234, 1234, sign up. So, externally, nothing has changed. Let's check the console output. Here's our send email. Let's see where this console log is called. Right here. Here's send email to our user's email. Subject, the one we predefined in this function. Template name, welcome. Full variable, user nick, 3W. We specified it. The add ID URL is this one because we set it here and passed it. We set the home URL in the global variables here. That's why it is like this, and the HTML template itself. The required one was used. It's hard to tell it's the right one, of course. Nevertheless, you can search for some matching strings here to what we output. Well, you can see that there's a link here that leads to add ID. Yes, we do have it here in the template, this add ID button. That's the template. Good. So, well, we can also try to block an idea and see how it works. Let's do that. So, let's log in as our admin. Admin 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's block this idea. Okay, idea blocked. Let's check the console. So, this user, obviously the author of our idea, was sent an email message. Your idea is blocked. Template name the following. Variables as follows. Excellent. Very good. So, sending seems to work, but there's one thing. It works in development mode. However, when we build our backend and it goes into the dist folder, it won't work because currently the emails are built into the src emails dist folder. And they don't end up in the backend dist folder. We need to fix our scripts in package.json for this to work. Let's do that. All right, we need to add a script called copy emails, which will run during our app build process. What will this copy emails do? It'll call the copy files utility, which we also need to install. It will search for files here, src emails, dist, all HTML files, and copy them into the dist folder here, which is in the backend. And this flag, diffuse U1, indicates that src should be erased from paths. That is, to erase the first path element because it's redundant. Here's our function copy emails. Oh yes, copy emails. Let's install the utility copy files. We'll install it right in the root as a development tool. VDI. Diffuse V means to install in the root package JSON. There. But the flag will not be allowed. Okay, and copy files. Installing. And we continue adjusting our JSON package. This existing build we will now call build.ts because it builds our TypeScript. And we'll create a build script that will combine build, TypeScript, and build emails with the following code. So, what does it call? It calls build.ts. After this command successfully executes, it calls build emails. And after the emails are built, it calls pnpm copy emails to copy the built emails into the dist folder of our entire backend. All right, let's check how it works. pnpm v build. All right, let's have a look. Here's our dist folder. Here, our emails. And yes, indeed, it copied the dist folder with our emails. Great. It now works. Great. We've added the functions and can move on. Thank you, everyone. See you soon.